Welcome back to the Road Show this morning, The Buzz. Some best-selling books are being challenged by the American Library Association. You know, every year the ALA comes out with a list of books that they're asking to be removed from the library or classrooms because of its content or inappropriateness, impropriety. And making the list this year, the ridiculously popular Twilight series by Stephanie Meyer. Yeah, the ALA says it's sexually explicit, it's unsuited to the age group, and it has offensive language. And actually, we know that many local schools have removed the fourth installment of the series from libraries because that's when things start to, you know, heat up a little bit. They're a little older and things become more mature in the book. This was interesting to me because it is so popular. I know that there were a number of groups in Harry Potter, which is of course still so popular. As those books come out, people say, maybe this isn't the best thing for kids. Other people say, you know, whatever gets kids to read, gets them to learn and be more engaged and more interested in literature. So what do you guys think?
Well, I got in a big debate with a friend of ours who has a daughter that's, I believe, 8 or 9, and I'm kind of going off to the movie now, but they took their daughter to the movie at that age.
Well, the movie didn't really have anything, I'm trying to think, inappropriate.
Other than young men walking around without shirts on.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah.
I was like, what, are you crazy? You can't.
Okay.
So I didn't think that was appropriate.
Well, what was it rated? PG-13 or something?
PG-13, Twilight.
All right, so if it was PG-13 and you took your 8-year-old, maybe
that's
not.
a stretch. Yeah, okay. You know, listen, the things that you see on TV nowadays and you read on the internet, and books are like tame compared to that. In the music, yeah. You're right, the music videos, so.
But they can't, but the schools can't control that. The schools can't control what you do, what movies you go to,
they can control what they have in the library.
Control what they have in the library.
Here's what kind of disappointed me. I have a godson who's 11 years old, and he loves these books. He has. You know, he reads above his reading level, so he's been reading the whole trilogy. He loves them. It's a shame that he's invested time and effort into seeing the movies and reading 3 books, and now they come to the 4th one, and he's 11 years old, where all of a sudden, you know, his parents have to make a choice.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, like, once you get involved in these trilogies and whatnot, or this one has 4 books, but I mean, he's literally invested so much time and he's excited about the 4th book coming out, and now you're almost telling him, like, sorry, man, sorry. You gotta wait till you're older till we'll let you see what really happens.
I think a lot of parents get swept up in, oh, everybody's reading this, great book for kids, you know, this is wonderful, and maybe they don't know what the content is. Right. So I think for the American Library Association to say, we don't want this necessarily in our school libraries, is something that kids can check out, but, you know, parents can use it kind of as a guide. Okay, if there's something a little more mature in the 4th book, then maybe we read it together. You know, maybe your godson's parents say, okay, this is what's happening to Bella and Edward. These are the feelings that they're having. Let's talk about it. Let's read it chapter by chapter every night. You know what I mean? And kind of use it as a tool. If they really are interested and there really are questions that are coming about as a result of it, you know, use it as a tool to open up a line of dialogue that you might not be able to do otherwise.
I think it's good that the school is kind of taking them out of the library, because this is something that, you know, maybe your parent, maybe the parent can sit down and the parent can read it and say, you know, if it's questionable or not, maybe they can make the decision if their child can read it, you know.
I don't know.
So the school's taking kind of the safe road, which I think is smart.
I admire them for at least making the effort, but, you know, there's so many filters that are needed nowadays with kids that, you know, it's a good start, but I think this is like barely scratching the surface. I mean.
Well, I tell you what, Courtney Caligiuri, I'm curious to hear what viewers are saying, and I know for one, Patrick's daughter recently announced that she was in love with someone. Yeah. And so I think he has a very distinct.
Is it still Zac Efron?
No, it's a real life person.
It's a real life.
Yeah, it's one of her big brother's friends, Josh. She told me that she can't stop staring at him because she's in love with him. She's 5. I'm worried. What do I do?
Ignore it, I guess. Let her grow out of it, because it'll be somebody else the next week.
They'll get cooties eventually, right? The boys?
Okay. Start chasing each other around the playground. But we have some parents here on the live blog who are saying no way to the Twilight books until they're older. So I'm going to read some of their comments now, right off our homepage on foxprovidence.com. And Aaron S. says, I think it's the parents' responsibility to try and screen what their children are reading. And Joseph Butera says, we have a 9-year-old that really wants to read the book Twilight, but the answer is definitely no. She's way too young for this material. Maybe when she's at least a teenager, we will allow her. And he goes on to say that, you know, there should be parental warnings on books like there are on music, just so parents kind of have the heads up in case you're not familiar with series like that are growing increasingly popular. Here's our poll here right under the live blog. Which of these do you think makes a book inappropriate for children? Sexual content, language, racism, nudity, or religious views? So you can check that out, and I also posted the link there to the ALA list to see what else is on there for books that are inappropriate for kids. We've got a bunch of comments here on Facebook. Jump in, leave us your remark if you want to weigh in on this subject. I'll be back in about 30 minutes with those poll results. For now, we're going to head back